RTX 5090 benchmarks are here, and it's more like a 4090 Ti. Sony is completely shutting down Blu-ray production, and AMD explains why we need to be patient for them. We gotta wait. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, January 24th, 2025. And I want to remind you that today is finally the day of our i9-14900KF 4090 PC giveaway, as well as our Alienware laptop that we're giving away to celebrate the launch of UFD Music. So if you want to head on over to our Twitch channel, we're going to be drawing the winners for those at 3 p.m. Eastern today, and today only. But after that, we will have some sort of 50 series PC to give away as the next big monthly giveaway. So check us out over on Twitch. Would love to have you over there, and you should have been able to check out what exactly is going on with the RTX 5090. As always, when it comes to GPU launches, number one, I didn't release hot news yesterday because whenever there's a GPU launch, our hot news videos always perform poorly just because everybody's watching everybody else. But then also, as always, you should check out Video Cards Roundup, who tries to conglomerate all of the various reviews that are out there from all of the different publications from basically every country, and that way it can be localized to you in case that's something that's important for you. But the ones that I watched that I thought were the most helpful, Hardware Unboxed having a really great video, hilarious, number one, 4090 Ti skit was fantastic, Steve standing up, but just giving you all of the data that you need to know while also just being constructive and kind of giving a good sense of what the consumer can expect. Digital Foundry also very much doing something similar, evaluating all of the things that are going on with DLSS and frame gen and how that is practically going to play out. The takeaway from both of those videos, as well as tons of other reviews, is that this is a 4090 Ti. It's a 5090 in name only. It is higher power, higher performance at a higher price. So everything is just scaling, and it's not necessarily something that's all that much more efficient, or you're not getting that much better bang for your buck. But at the same time, this is the Halo product. This is the flagship. The people who buy $2,000 graphics cards for their gaming rigs aren't as price sensitive typically as other customers. So they're just not looking to find if they're maximizing their dollar, they're looking to find if they're maximizing their FPS. And the 5090 is now going to be the fastest gaming card on the market, and that's just that. So it's going to cost $2,000 minimum, $2,100 to $2,500 if it's a third-party card. It's going to be very expensive, but you're not going to find this level of performance in a 4090. So if you want this level of performance, you just kind of have to buy it. I'm kind of more interested in what's going on with the RTX 5080. Is that going to be comparable to a 4090, or is it just going to be an incremental approach on the 4080 Super? All of those details are going to really matter. I think one of the Digital Foundry's best lines that they had about multi-frame gen is that while it looks better, it doesn't feel better because of latency input. Your computer's only registering the input on the naturally rendered frame, not on the frame gen frames. So while you have more fluidity in the higher FPS, you actually don't get better game input, which is going to be the complication when it comes to AI moving forward. But with things like neural rendering and other features being baked into DirectX moving forward, that could potentially change over the coming years, but you definitely shouldn't buy based on promises that we don't have right now. But actually, one of the most interesting videos that I got to watch was actually Der Bauer's video on the RTX 5090, who also happens to call it a 4090 Ti, but in it, he discussed something that I haven't seen another creator talk about, which is that NVIDIA removed the readings on the GPU hotspot temperature. So right now, you only get memory temperature and GPU temperature, which is an average across the entire die. GPU hotspot temperature allows you to know whether or not you have bad contact with your cooling solution, or if it's excessively hot. And this especially matters because the RTX 5090 shrunk down to 2 slots. It's a new cooling solution. So people were investigating, is it better when it comes to cooling than the 4090? And the answer is kinda, because it's only roughly 10 degrees Celsius hotter, but it is pushing an additional 125 watts through it while also being slimmer. So it being hotter makes a lot of sense, but when you reduce the power consumption, it's actually very good at cooling. However, getting back to the removal of the hotspot temperature, Der Bauer reached out to NVIDIA, who said, well, now we have memory temperature readings, so you don't need it, to which the response is that has been on previous generations of cards, so that doesn't make any sense. And then they also said that it's not useful, it it's a meaningless metric, to which Der Bauer and I think a lot of other people would say that it's actually a very helpful metric. It helps you to know whether or not something's going wrong with your GPU or if you need to potentially downclock things. And the speculation comes out to be that it's potentially removed because that number was too high. It was something that was going to damn NVIDIA's cooling solution. The hotspot might be way higher than we think it is, and they don't have it in there because they don't want people to talk about the number. Again, that's speculation, but it is intriguing that NVIDIA removed that reporting from the GPU. We can't see what the hotspot temperature is, at least on the Founders Edition. But one of the things NVIDIA does ensure us of is that the 16-pin power connector shouldn't melt anymore. They say that they believe the problems are resolved and that everything should be fine. And according to everything I know about the 12-volt 2x6, it should definitely not melt. Jay's 2 cents pointed out that the connector on the 5090 is actually tighter, so you're gonna get a better full contact insertion even if you use previous cables, but hopefully it should be resolved. No more melting GPU power connectors. But there's a lot to take in with regards to the 5090. Reviews for the 5080 are expected to drop in less than a week on the 29th of January. So in case you're looking to upgrade to the new generation of GPUs, stay tuned for all of that. Or, you know, you could also check out today's video sponsor, Falcon Northwest, who is a company dedicated to PC gamers, being around for decades in the industry, being older than most of the employees here at UFD Tech, and providing fantastic gaming PCs that are customized to what you need. If you need a 5090, they have multiple PCs that can fit those. They've got their Talon mid-tower. They have their Fragbox portable toteable gaming PC, as well as their Tiki, which is the slim one that we found out at CES can indeed fit a brand new RTX 5090. But as you can see also from the 5090 fitting in the Tiki, one of the things that Falcon Northwest does is that they can customize the outside of the PC to be what you want it to be, not just the inside. This isn't something that they just did special for NVIDIA. They can do this for all of their customers, just like when they sent me a giant Reece face. Love that man, and I'm glad I get to stare at him while playing my video games. They also have workstations you can check out if you're not on the gaming side, but on the professional side. But one of the best things about Falcon Northwest is that they are committed to the PC gaming community and have been that way for over 30 years. You get to see it in beautiful moments like Digital Foundry's interview with an NVIDIA higher up, where you see the Falcon Northwest Talon in the background right there. But then you also see it in Falcon Northwest's response to what's going on with various different issues that might be going on with hardware. Take the 13th and 14th gen issues. Falcon Northwest was testing that in-house and informing their customers on how to adjust their settings before Intel even admitted that there was a problem. And you can even see it from members in the UFD Tech Discord community, with little Nikki Scarfo, who was the winner of our charity giveaway of the Falcon Northwest frag box, who said that I've actually been meaning to reach out to Falcon Northwest and finally give them props for all the work they've done with Intel in the 13th and 4th gen, along with the awesome thermal design that they have on this frag box. And another member of our community saying, I've thanked them several times when they're in live streams here or over on PC World. Their proactive approach certainly saved me some headaches until Intel got around to it. Then you add things like their 3-year warranty on their PCs, 1 year of overnight service where they'll ship it out to themselves overnight to fix something that they can't diagnose remotely, and then overnight it back to you so that you're not without your PC. Falcon Northwest tremendously cares about the PC community, and in case you want to have a computer in your life that not only looks beautiful, has all the parts inside that you want, but is also supporting a company that does a lot for PC gamers, check out Falcon Northwest at the link in the video description. And honestly, it looks like pre-builts might be one of the easiest ways to get the RTX 50 series. I don't know anything about Falcon Northwest stock allocations, but we've been hearing reports that there is going to be limited stock at launch. And what we've seen from previous launches is that when it's limited at retailers, you can find them a little easier at pre-built companies. But Overclockers in the UK is saying that they only have single-digit numbers of 5090s to sell just a week before launch. This is coming after we've heard that Germany is going to have very limited stock. It might be limited basically everywhere in the world and could potentially be chalked up to what is known colloquially as a paper launch. It's not quite clear if that's the case. Maybe they will get more stock allocation in the next week and they'll go from single to triple digits. One can hope if you're looking to pick up one of the 50 series, but otherwise you might have to be ready as soon as they go on sale, in case you're desperately wanting one of these things. And I desperately love when there's reviews of things that are just like slightly off the beaten path, right? Like the RTX 5090, most benchmarkers are testing it with the 9800X 3D. You've got Bauer who's testing out different things, finding out about the hotspot temperature. And then you got Tech Power Up over here, finding out PCI-Express scaling. This is something that is intriguing to see. Do you need a PCI-Express 5.0 motherboard in order to effectively run the RTX 5090? Or more specifically, what PCI-Express generation do you start losing performance on? And they did a whole bunch of testing at all of the various resolutions with a bunch of different games, with ray tracing, with DLSS. It's very comprehensive. I highly recommend that you go check it out. It's linked in the sources down below. But you can see at 1080p with the 5090, it averages 251 FPS at full speed. But then when you drop it down to PCI-Express 1, you lose 25% of your performance to drop down to 188. But when you go to PCI-Express 2.0, you're only losing like 10%. It's not that much. PCI-Express 3 full 16 lanes is again only 9 FPS lost. And then if you're on PCI-Express 4, it's a 3 FPS difference, which just could be in the margin of error. But one of the more intriguing things with NVIDIA pushing AI and DLSS and all of these upscaling and frame generation technologies, they also went to see, is there a difference when you use DLSS? And you find out that with DLSS 2, the difference between PCI-Express 1.1 and 5.0 is just 10%. The difference between DLSS 3 1.1 and 5.0 is 9%. However, with DLSS 4, it's slightly more, coming in at 11% loss. It's really intriguing to see how these generated frames and upscaling potentially overcome some other technical limitations that are going on in your PC. It's an intriguing look. I like that Tech Power Up does this every time there's a new GPU launch, so definitely check out their article in case you want more comprehensive details about that. And a lot of you aren't looking at the 5090 or the 5080. You want more comprehensive details on the 5070 and 5070 Ti. And it turns out, according to one retailer right now, that the Ti should launch on February 20th. They don't have the 5070 up on their website, just the Ti, February 20th. That kind of goes in line with when NVIDIA said to expect them in February. It's not 100% confirmed, but it's some indication at this point. And Reece might have some indication on how to save you money on some tech products.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals on the internet. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you guys had a good weekend. You know, deals, that's the word I'm looking for. Starting off today, we have the EpoMaker TH80X. This 75% hot swappable gasket mount mechanical keyboard is going for only $59.99, making it $40 off. And then another mini guy we have is this Corsair MP600 NVMe M.2 SSD, a 2230, making it a little tiny guy where you can pick up 1 terabyte for only $79.99, making it $30 off. Add a little extra storage to a Steam Deck or other handheld, and hey, they're cute. And then lastly today, we have another UFD favorite with the Thermaltake Tower 300 Micro ATX case. You can currently pick up the limestone colorway for $114.97, making it $25.02 off. Absolutely great case, comes bundled with 2 fans, and hey, you know, thumbs up from me. And with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, Google thinks they got a good deal with buying out part of HTC's Vive VR team, spending $250 million to get rights to HTC's technology, as well as hiring a bunch of their engineers who worked on the original Vive, as well as various different other headsets that they've released since then. And one of the big reasons they're doing this is to invest in the Android XR space that they announced late in 2024, where they're expected to start coming out with competitors to Apple's Vision Pro. They're spending big money in order to do that, $250 million to HTC. While Google is advancing on certain things, Sony, however, is stopping certain things, with them announcing that they are going to cut Blu-ray media production altogether as of February of this year. However, it's not just Blu-rays, they're also announcing that mini discs, MD data, and mini DV cassettes are also going away as of February 2025. One of the most important things to know about this is that Sony says that they're doing this just because it's just not good for business. It's actually unprofitable for them to continue to make all of these discs. Everything's going digital and streaming, so financially it just doesn't make sense for them to continue to do this. And more importantly, there will be no successor to it. Blu-ray is the last of it, and it is now over. Sony previously stopped consumer Blu-ray production in 2024. They were still selling it to businesses who could manufacture things like their movies and such on Blu-ray discs, but that will be over sometime soon. So physical media appears to be dying a very painful death. We've already seen retailers like Target and Best Buy completely remove their physical media sections. LG also stopped investing in Blu-ray recently. Now Sony, the inventor of Blu-ray, is going to end up getting rid of it altogether. Big sad moment for people who like to actually own their things. And in case you want to own a new Samsung Galaxy S25 device, that did get announced a couple days ago. We didn't cover it yesterday because we didn't have an episode of Hot News, but just want to recap some of the stuff that they went over. They launched, obviously, new phones. S25 Ultra, as far as I can tell, has a slightly faster Snapdragon chip and has a slightly boxier design. And they removed features from the Galaxy S Pen, so you can no longer interact with your phone using air commands, and it completely removed Bluetooth from the S Pen as well. So no remote interaction, it's about physical tapping on your device. So a little bit of a downgrade and a lot of a side grade, especially with the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus. Again, mostly just color changes and slightly upgraded Snapdragon processor. However, other than that, it's all software enhancements with AI, which is going to be rolling out to the S24 lineup. So this feels very much like less than an upgrade from the 4090 to the 5090. It's essentially no upgrade at all, especially if you're on a more modern Samsung device. And a lot of us want to be on a more modern GPU. AMD potentially could be a competitor in that space. And as we've heard from their Twitter posts, we're not expected to get the RX 9000 series until March of this year, but there's plenty of indication that it should have come out sooner. There's some promotional materials that Video Cards got their hands on that indicates that they were ready for launch earlier with their promotion saying immediate availability or being able to play now. So it's clear that they intended for this to come out potentially in January, maybe even earlier in February, but they have delayed it. And now we kind of have a little bit of an idea as to why, with AMD's marketing strategy here being to tweet about it through one guy. That's how we found out that the 9070 XT was going to launch in March. And now this is how we find out why it's being delayed and what they're exactly trying to accomplish. Obviously, it can be guessed that they're doing this so that they have a leg up on NVIDIA's pricing and performance, and they can potentially try to price things better so that they're more competitive in the market. But additionally, it's being said by David McAfee that they're taking a little extra time to optimize the software stack for maximum performance and enable more FSR4 titles. And while there has been some initial inventory building at retailers, there should be more partner cards available at launch. So essentially, all of the things that have gone wrong in previous AMD launches with the RX 6000 and 7000 series should hopefully be fleshed out. Maybe better driver support, more game adoption for FSR4, yes, but hopefully by the time reviewers are actually using these cards and telling us what to expect, they don't have the headache that they had last time with AMD changing the drivers at the last second and completely invalidating entire weeks worth of work. So let's remember this moment. They're doing this to optimize software, and if the launch of the 9070 XT has buggy software at launch, man, AMD's in a rough position. But in case you're wondering, when can we get these cards? We have another retailer indicating that it might be March 23rd. I actually don't believe this one because this is the same retailer that said it could potentially be January 23rd, and so they just added 2 months to that. Additionally, March 23rd is a Sunday, and I haven't known AMD to launch GPUs on a Sunday, so AMD's confirmed March. Who knows exactly when in the month it's going to fall. But you guys fell for leaving me comments on Wednesday's episode of Hot News, so let's go ahead and review what you said. Duct Tape saying, I think the eco-friendly box is hilarious because I know most gamers don't throw away their GPU box. Yeah, but when you rot in your basement and you decompose, your box will decompose with you. It's good for everybody. And then I'm Not Using Scout says, bro's chair looks like a cartoon villain chair. It sure did. I love it. It's hilarious. I have a whole lot of fun with that Colo Light speaker setup. Then Muchacho Grande saying, I love the Horizon series and I'll always recommend them any chance I get. I agree with you, Brett. A Horizon MMO would have hit so hard and would be such an amazing world to explore further. I know. It's sad. We don't get any more. That was the one I was pulling for the most, and we're just... And then the Chad says, I'll go ahead and cancel my GeForce Now subscription so that one of you can have it. I've been paying for it for years without using it. For that matter, I should probably cancel my Ubisoft and Game Pass subs too. And what's this EA charge I keep getting? What was the last EA game I even played? Yeah, go. I mean, YouTubers have plenty of sponsors who help you to like cancel the subscriptions. We don't have one like that, but there are services out there that can help you if you're constantly paying for things that you're just not using. Yeah, if you want to free up GeForce Now, go ahead. EA had also like some subscription pass that was exactly the same. If you're not using them, maybe stop paying for them. And then Volnas says, I knew why I shouldn't buy RTX 5090 yet, since there will be a new Titan. I will buy, checks bank account, used GTX 1060 and not in particularly good condition. And then Soiltech says, I'm gonna hold off until the 5090 Titan Ti. Universe, yeah right, you can't afford it either. It's not gonna be cheap. It's not gonna be cheap. And I don't think it's gonna be for gamers. I think it's gonna be, Titan's gonna be prosumer. It's gonna be for people who are trying to LLM their way out of life. And I'm gonna LLM my way out of this episode of Hot News. Don't forget that we do have our PC giveaways going on over on our Twitch channel at 3 p.m. Eastern today. We'd love to have you there. We'll be back here on Tuesday for more of the hottest tech news. Would love to see you then.